Imagine this. It's 10 p.m. No phone, no lamp, no streetlight outside your window. Just darkness. Not the kind of darkness where you close your eyes, the kind where you open them and still see nothing. What if I told you that 3,000 years ago, humans were waking up in the middle of the night, every night, on purpose, and the doctors of that time didn't call it insomnia. They called it normal. In fact, if you slept 8 straight hours back then, you were the weird one, and that's just the beginning, because the way ancient humans spent their nights was so different from ours that if you were somehow transported back 3,000 years, the nights alone would completely break your mind. Let's start with the thing that nobody teaches you in school. 3,000 years ago, humans did not sleep the way you do. There was no such thing as sleeping through the night. Historian Roger Ekirch spent 16 years going through ancient diaries, court records, and medical documents, and what he discovered was this. Every human being slept in 2 separate blocks. They called it first sleep and second sleep. Around 8 or 9 p.m., they slept for about 4 hours. Then, naturally, without any alarm, they woke up around midnight. What did they do in this secret midnight hour? They talked, they prayed, they visited neighbors. Married couples considered this their most intimate time together. Scholars wrote that the mind was clearest right after first sleep, so they used this hour to solve problems, reflect, create. Some just lay in the dark and thought. Then, they drifted back into second sleep until sunrise. Scientists today have actually recreated these ancient conditions. They put volunteers in complete darkness for 14 hours a night, no artificial light. Within weeks, every single volunteer naturally shifted to this exact same 2-sleep pattern. It wasn't learned behavior. It was biological. It was always inside us. We just buried it under electric light. Now let's understand the world these people actually lived in. 3,000 years ago, ancient Mesopotamia, around 1000 BC. The sun sets at 6 p.m. and your entire world instantly shrinks. You have one tool against the darkness, a small clay lamp filled with olive oil, a twisted piece of fabric as a wick. That flame could light maybe 2 feet around you. Your eyes, right now, have the ability to see in almost complete darkness. Ancient people triggered this every single night without knowing the science. Anthropologist Polly Wiesner studied one of the last remaining hunter-gatherer communities on Earth, the Juhwanzi people of southern Africa. She recorded their conversations during the day, and then again at night around the fire. The difference was shocking. Daytime conversations, practical, work, food, tasks. Nighttime conversations around fire, 81% were stories, myths, legends, heroes, distant lands, moral lessons wrapped inside adventures. This is how knowledge survived before writing was common. This is where the first religions were born. This is where culture was kept alive, passed from one generation to the next, through the voice of one person sitting by a flame. It was their YouTube, their Netflix, their entire entertainment system. And the storyteller was the most powerful person in the village. But let's not pretend it was all beautiful storytelling and peaceful sleep, because the dark was genuinely terrifying. 3,000 years ago, you were not safely at the top of the food chain. Lions, wolves, leopards, hyenas. These animals were built for the night. Their eyes, designed for darkness. Their ears, designed for silence, and they knew exactly when your fire went out. This is why ancient settlements had walls. The night watchman is one of the oldest jobs in all of human history. And here's the part that should genuinely disturb you. That fear you feel when the lights suddenly go out, that weird, instant anxiety in the pit of your stomach, that's 3,000 years of survival memory, written directly into your DNA by every ancestor who lived long enough to have children, because they were afraid of the dark. I need to show you the one thing ancient humans had that we have completely and permanently lost: the sky. In a modern city on a clear night, you can see roughly 200 stars. Ancient humans, with zero light pollution, the Egyptians aligned the pyramids with specific stars so precisely that modern astronomers are still amazed. The Babylonians mapped the constellations so accurately that we still use their star charts today, 3,000 years later. The Polynesians sailed thousands of miles across open ocean, no instruments, no compass, just by reading the stars. The sky was their GPS, their calendar, their clock, and we traded all of it for streetlights. So here's what I want you to actually feel for a second. 3,000 years ago, a human being, just like you, finished their day, sat by a fire, looked up at a sky so full of stars it looked like it was on fire itself, listened to stories that had been told for 1,000 years before them, Now, I'm not saying ancient life was better. It absolutely was not. People died young. Disease was brutal. Life was genuinely hard in ways we cannot imagine. But there is something in those long, dark, quiet nights that we have lost so completely. The next time your power goes out, before you panic, before you grab your phone, sit in the dark for just 1 minute. And remember, this was every night, for every human, for thousands of years.